There are one deep flaw that I used to have. Them currently embracing that thing again. And I'm like, why is this happening? So for the record, right now I'm binge watching the playlist of the shows that I've been keeping. And I'm getting back into this like dating shows, watching dating shows again. And I wonder like because I I set it aside because I just like to binge watching all of it together. And I don't need to be waiting and then to be curious for the whole week. So I don't watch until the shows is over. And now that the shows is over, I'm watching it. But there is a catch. Like I search for how much episode does this shows has. Then there usually is some review under that information. And I'm like, and I see the reviews so badly um, received by the viewers of the show. And I'm like, I don't think like I can watch this show now because of how bad it it received. And I'm like, but I have been watching dating shows for quite a while, and now that I'm getting back on it, doesn't make sense for me not to watch it because I'm just like having fun with this flirtiest show, them people showing what they are authentically having, and I'm like, I don't know why I'm stopping myself not to watch the things, and I today, and when I was looking at myself, looking for the things that I want to talk about in this live stream, I'm like, reminded myself of the time when I have no tools to manage bad reviews, whatever that is. People, place, entertainment, um, activities, whatever that is. Like I just like if it has something bad review, then I would not get on it. I was just that person because I don't like complicated things. I don't like really mm, overwhelming emotion. Like it's pretty much a complicated way to feel. I just don't never get into that. But then I get my world becomes so small and I get to be so focused in my own world and I don't like that. So I then expand it and then I'm here getting back to it to have that one focus only. And I'm like, and I don't like to have these kind of negative things happening, bumping around my energy. So I'm like, I just reminded that I have a tendency to have those decision, and I'm like, I'm disappointed at myself, to be honest. And in the past, I used to like, okay, it has some bad reviews. I don't know how bad it is. If it's like really bad for me, if I can't take it, so I would take it on my own. So that's how I expanded my world. Like I take so much negativity word away and just like experience it in front of me myself. And I rejected anyone else's opinion to have that much of extreme expansion. And that works great. But at some point, it's just a waste of time. Sometimes I don't feel attracted, interested, invited to get on it. But because some people have this belief and it catches me, it's like, hey, this is bad. Actually, don't do it. And I'm like, I don't know about that. Let me see it. And I get to a point where I have too much interest that is not so interesting because I personally not interested in that. So it works both ways. And I have managed my own inner reality, inner world, like my bubble to become so much bigger than how it used to. And now I'm here, getting into the space, reminding myself that sometimes when you have a continuation from the past that has already great, you want to continue without worrying other people's opinion. And that's why I get into watching dating shows, because of that reason. I just want to expand my world, and then now that I'm here and I see how the focus of the shows is actually just for a few contestants, but I can also see that why they focus on it. That's the thing. Like sometimes you are become so one lane, one focus in front of you because of this person has the experience to be so jarring, to be so different, and that's why it's interesting to talk about. That's why there is not much of famous people in the world because of that reason, because their journey is interesting, because what they have going on is actually powerful enough for the collective, and that's why people talk about that. But the people who review the show badly, I can see like they don't like the person, they don't like the contestant of the show, nor they are interested in the flow of psychological um, current of how someone actually get together with someone else. And I understand that now, and I'm pretty much disappointed that I delay binge watching the show for so long, because it has been over like freaking 2 months, but I haven't like watched it because of that reason, because I haven't like getting over of the fact that I also have the tendency to stop myself whenever things were looking bad. It's part of my traits because I am a deep thinker, and I just don't want to be in a complicated situation. But I tried my best to not be so overpowered by this kind of situation. But it's just like me working my ass off to not having this type of situation. But because now that I'm here, I'm fully disappointed in the way I manage this whole thing. Because if you understand that when you receive a bad review, either you read it under someone else's opinion, others, or either someone actually say it to you, you're gonna hear the tonality of that word being said. There are such a pushover, such a uh, opinionated, ingrained tonality that the person had. But then again, like look into your past, like how you actually progress through life, and you can kind of see like, okay, I'm actually doing it because of this. I actually like it myself. So I have that interest within me that I want to keep building up, and that's why I'm here. Now, if that is actually the truth for you, then you can absolutely just ignore what everyone else has said about this thing that you are so interested in. But also, like, at the same time, there are a great feedback on even when people say it badly. Now, I also understand why those reviews were written in under the show's information, and I'm like, from this person perspective, it's not wrong if if they have such a favorite contestant of the shows, and I'm like, I don't have those things. Like I'm not favoriting anyone, and I didn't even like read the whole review like seriously. I'm just like, oh, this person don't like it. I just like read the first sentence written there, and I'm like, it's bugging me to eventually not really watch the thing. And I'm like, I hate myself. I hate being dragged around by something that is actually not interested for me, not interesting for me. Like I don't value these things, but because I was just protecting my own space, my own bubble, I become so cautious about taking new things. It's part of the course, I think. But that's the thing, like how to manage bad reviews. If only like I Now I'm trying to get into the solution stage of this thing, because sometimes like I use everything that is so fragmented like this, so different, so duality. Like I'm just like, this is not something that I want, and then I use that those moments to improve whatever system I have in mind. But if I think about it again, there's nothing that I can improve, because I have done it. I've done the improvement before. But also like, if I take from my past, there are two lanes on this. Like the shows that I've been watching, it is true that I was watching a lot of dating shows, but it is also true that at some point I get so tired seeing people um, having this progress of relationship. It's really exhausting at one point, and that's why like the shift happened. And then so suddenly I was dragged with this negative reviews, and then I just don't watch it until now. So that is also true. The change of the current that sometimes happen in between, and sometimes people missed in life, is because of this. It is true that you have it, but then it's also true that you become the person who don't. And I was with my friend who was having romantic relationship with someone. They're building that relationship, and I have the instinct that they won't work. And then this person told me about the time when they first met. She actually never thought about this person at all. But then I think she become intrigued. She become curious about this person, and then so suddenly that person doesn't actually want her anymore. So I'm like, exactly. I know that that person would not actually care about you. But then this person become kind of like stuck in the middle, because they don't know how to choose. They don't know which option to choose. Would they just let it go, or they keep going? But then I kind of see like how this person reject my friend, and I said it to her like, hey, I think this person actually manipulated you for the reason, I don't know, for the exhilaration, for the excitement of getting to know someone. And I let her see what that truly is, because I think in the relationship building it's very vague, blurry, to be honest. You are in the fog of, is it the person? And then in the romantic relationship building, there's also like preference is actually highly disregard in my to my friend's life, and she can't see it. And I'm like, I don't know why you're still with him, knowing that this is not gonna work at all. But this person also like, I don't know, like, I don't know the word for the English, because I have been so deep in the Korean dating shows. It just, I know the term in Korean, but I don't know the term in freaking English. Um, like easily falling in love. Like that was the type of my friend. And I get to see like, I don't think this is going to work. And I also like see the timeline of her future, and from my psychic perspective, I never said anything about that. But I just like, oh my god, this is so cute. You guys are so great at finding really terrible people. And my friend was just astounded whenever I say that, because it is true. They actually are really great at collecting junks. And I'm like, trash. And I'm just, I don't know. And I keep saying it to her, like, I think this person is manipulating you. Oh, and the preference of my friend is actually, they like certainty. I think like that's still what most people prefer. And this person never gave those certainty, and I ask my friend, why don't you give the certainty first? But this person wants to be, what do you call it, treat like a freaking princess. And I'm like, okay, that's one of the ways why you are cannot go on with your relationship. That's why, because you like to be the princess and you just want to be like someone else say it first, and then you just follow it. And I'm like, yeah, okay. Which is like, I feel like 40% to 60% of my friends is actually like that. They like to be treated as friends, and I'm really just the masculine type among my friends. I'm just saying, I always said to them, like, why don't you go first? Why don't you stay true with what you believe? What do you actually want like that? But the preference never change. So I wonder, like, if this is something that younger people or people with higher emotional um, preference likes to do, because they just want to have those sparks. That is so great. But I'm just like, I don't know why you're wasting your time with this. But also, like, I think my psychic gift has helped me a lot, knowing that if this person is actually going to help me in those ways, is going to stay with me in those times and all that stuff. And I haven't found anyone that actually align with my preference, but also align with the future that I kind of see from my psychic gift. So it's been hard for myself. So that's like the thing, the how to manage bad reviews, the changes, the shift that is happening. I think like most changes happen consciously. So I don't believe in unconscious decision. I think what I rather choose the word is actually the system. When you are choosing something, you are having your preference to be known by your awareness. And when it already ingrained with your system, you don't need to think about it anymore. But it's not like it was behind the scene all the time. It's not like you breathing because you are unconscious about it. You are breathing because you're conscious about it, but you let your system to get you that air. So it's not unconscious. I hate when someone, like, on the internet or the psychology department, they talk about like how unconscious and conscious. I'm like, there is no way that you are unconscious about what you're doing. It's impossible. I'd love to believe that it is. But then if you tell me that I made an unconscious decision, it's more like you are possessed. Like, it's not in your power. That's why I hate it. When someone like have the reason to be like, I don't know why you did that. I mean, like, bitch, stop saying that. You know why you choose it like that, why you have it like that. That's why I always feel distant when someone out there have this theory, like, say it in front of my face, conscious, unconscious. I'm like, bitch, you always have only the conscious one. You never have the unconscious. Even if you have the unconscious, whenever it catches your eyes, your mind, whatever is happening in your system, it is a conscious thing. It is impossible that you have an unconscious. And then it said like, oh yeah, your heart beat because you're unconscious. It is just in your system. But like, it's the system. It doesn't make sense to be unconscious in the first place. And there is no such thing as unconscious. I just mind blown by that explanation. I always feeling so enraged whenever I hear these things. Like, forgiveness is one of them. I don't fucking care. Forgiveness. Like, I this is sounds like really problematic, because I have an issue with pain, with letting people still in my circle because of what they did to me. And I never been those people who can let people stay in my circle whenever they have done something really terrible to me. And then unconscious, and then religion, God, and all that stuff. It just like, I'm enraged whenever that happened, because it is impossible. because I cannot make sense no matter how much explanation you give to me. And I'm like, it doesn't make sense. The logic is not staying in place with everything. If it's like being test, if we are testing the thing that you are just said, it is not going to make sense in every other way. And I'm like, yep, that's exactly why. It's like you are, what do you, Howard, that guy that is introducing like 1 + 1 is 1 times 1 is actually 2. That was the really Howard. What do you call his name? Like, he was in Iron Man, those actor that turned into scientist, the person itself. And he said something along like, if you put other things in this equation, it doesn't make sense. It doesn't align. What he said is actually something aligned with me, because I'm like, I have those theories too, but in a different occasion, in a different area. What he said is that if you are in the scientific background, you cannot use the usual mathematics formula 1 times 1 is 2, because it's impossible that 1 exists with another 1 only contained with only resulting in one occasion. Is always 2, because they are matching the 2 energy. That's how I understand it. Now, if you are in a specific of scientific studies, like you are building some, what do you call it, aerospace, you are building something that is like improving technologies, you cannot follow the mathematic rules of money, because it doesn't make sense, because it will not work. And he had already said it that way. And I have read the energy of that truth, and I kind of like follow that reality. I am like in, like, I agree with his premise, because I see the relation with the current energetic that I see in the universe, and it works like that. And because people have already decided that this is the mathematic rules of numbers, they just follow what already exists. But if you actually go outside the box and you just follow the natural state of how things work, you're actually going to open more possibility out there, because you have followed the natural pace of the world. And that's also why I believe what I believe. Forgiveness doesn't work, because you will never forget whatever it is that you have in mind, whatever it is that you have placed that has imprinted in your timeline. It will still stay there. And that's why I don't believe in forgiveness. Because if I decided to let go, if I decided to forget the thing that I have experienced, I can go back and reminisce those moments. And that's why I don't believe in forgiveness, because of that reason. Because I am a library of my own experience. And when something actually happened to me, I have a hard time to understand the situation, because of how different my belief at the time to the things that was happening to me. But I get to be someone different in the future, and when that happened, I can start to see, oh, it actually can be seen like this, it can be seen like this. I then use understanding to understand the situation. I don't forgive. It's still in my mind, it's still in my history about that thing that is happening to me. But then there are also like times when I need to forget, which is like the forgetness, it's not something that was forced, like I need to forget about it right here. Because that's what most people use as forgiveness. Just forget about it. It's not something that is important for you to remember, but it is like a freaking catalyst for me, so I can't just forget about it. And that's why like I have such a distant idea with the forgiveness, because most people use forgetness to instead of the forgiveness in the wrong timeline. In the right timeline, when you are having this conjunction of life, where you are in this session, in this season, which is the season, the bridge of the season that you need actually to forget the things that you have done in the past, and knowing that in the future it might be different. That is the forgetness in forgiveness that I use. And whenever I am entering a new phase, new season of life, I use that tools of forgetness to eventually help me have more freedom in my own space. And I have a really troubled time understanding forgiveness. And Abraham Hicks, a channeler that I used to follow, this person said something along, there's nothing to forgive, which is true, but also like it has two notes on that. There's nothing to forgive because life just flows as it is. There's nothing to forgive because every coincidence, every meetups in life is actually meet up because of you have to interchanging connection energy to exchange. There is nothing to forgive because it is what it is. It's a part of the ebbs and flow of life. You just there and you're just not there. That's it. But also, there's nothing to forgive because life is meaningless. And you just put the meaning at the time, and that's why like, there's nothing to forgive. At the same time, I believe that. But also, like, there's nothing to forgive because what you have is actually what this world need. And you need to allow that to happen because we need you to actually experience it in the first place. And I'm being sacrificed like a freaking like a freaking animal being killed in the farm because of that reason. Because you are here as this role to experience this, and you need to allow it to happen to you in the way that is beneficial for us, to in the way that you are extending the energy of what that is. And I believe that I'm in a role of that. And that's why like I don't have the need to forgive, but also like I don't actually know what does that mean. But there will be a time where when you will face a decision to eventually let go, understand, or forget. Those times you need to just like let the part of the nature to flow through you. Now, the last thing that I don't believe is actually, what did I say? Forgiveness, unconscious. I already explained that part. I think I said 3. I just kind of like forget about it. Oh, about God, about religion. This part is actually really, really scary to talk about because people out there have very different idea about what and who is God. And I have a very distinctive way to tell what is God because I believe that this whole thing is God. We are living in the energy of the source, and we are borrowing their field to let us experience this moment, to let us experience whatever we want to experience. But it doesn't make us smaller than God. I think that's the religion, what religion actually failed to do is that they are teaching us that we need to serve, we need to be small, we need to fear. And I'm like, it's an exchange energy. You are here and then they are also here. So why do we need to feel small in the first place? This is one of the things that I don't believe. It's hard to say this with the person who are still in the religion, because I always met people who deeply involved in religion to be so fanatic, to be like, I just believe what I want to believe. I don't fucking care what you believe. If you don't believe what I believe, then you need to get here and believe what I believe. And I'm like, that's not how it works. It's like you're trying to make someone else not gay when they are gay. And I'm like, that's not the role they are playing. Why are you trying to make them straight? But I eventually have this one experience when my mom talked to someone in this cult, in this religion space, and that person actually said, why are you afraid of her straying away from God? If it's not her road, if it's not her path, then it is not. You are forcing her, you are making her suffer. My mom just like stood there and just like, I don't like it, but I also think it's logical that you think that way. I feel you, because my mom is actually very sensitive, too sensitive that that she also know why I choose certain things so drastically different than what she chose. That But when it comes to religion, she can't understand it. It's like she is being blocked by the reality that I am not her. And I have a really hard time making her understand what my point of view, but eventually I just given up. And I let her explore the option of why I am actually doing this. And then she eventually met that person that eventually opened up her mind to be like, oh yeah, this child is not me. And I think this is one of the lessons for parents, to never force their kids to do whatever they want, because their kids are not them. Their kids are not not property. Their kids are not the replacement of their broken dreams. And sometimes parents try to make their kids' life choice sound so straight, but that they fail to know the preference of what the child is having. I have those moments, and I don't fucking care at the time, and I still don't. So I am going back to the main point of why I actually talk about this. Why did we talk about this? I actually explained it. Mm. We actually talk about the preference itself, and then it comes down into such a radical preference, because it builds whoever you are. Your preference in this kind of reality. Is that what we are talking about? I don't know. I was talking like freaking 30 minutes, but I don't remember why I talk about this. I think it's just fascinating for me to have such a different point of view. Uh, I think we are straying away too far from the things that we want to talk about. And this is why it's hard to talk for 1 hour by myself, because of this reason. So I think we have stretched the time so far that 30 minutes is like nothing now. But I'm getting into like 15 minutes, hopefully by the end of this journey. And I can still remember the things that I have talked about from the beginning to the end. That's the one of the purpose. One of the purpose I do this. Nothing sticks. So I think I'm just saying that because of the interesting point of view. But that's the thing, like how to manage bad review. If you can see yourself, if you can see yourself in the time where you can be wrong, because it's not a complete, it's not a complete information. By complete, I mean like it's not like you have those experience yourself, but also because you don't want to waste any time, you tend to follow what the ratings were, what the ratings are, what other people actually say about that. And it has a double-edged sword about this experience, because you're not following what you want to get into. And I think if it's aligned with your nature, then you probably would follow it either way, but you follow it with a heavy heart because you understand that it might not be working out as you want to. And that half ass effort is what you don't actually want to exert. But then again, if you look into the possibilities of maybe you got it wrong, and so what? You can retrace yourself and get into the point where maybe this one is the one that I interest the most. Hmm. So, oh my god, Kyogi and Niall. I don't remember what I just said. Ah, 그거. I remember something about the things that I want to explain more, but I kind of forget about that thing. I remember the energy of how that word feels, but then I don't remember what the word actually is. Nope, can't really remember it. Mm, nope, can't really remember it. So I hope you got something in this. Maybe I remember it later, maybe I don't. But yeah. And